The British Watchmakers Day is around the corner, which is probably the biggest watch show in the UK, and this year it's going to run for a second time. Last year the atmosphere was electric with over 1,200 visitors. This year tickets sold out within a couple of days. If you've managed to snatch a ticket, you will have the opportunity to buy a special edition watch made specifically for the day. In this video, we're going to see over 20 different special editions and decide which one is the best. Welcome back to the WatchGecko channel, all you watch heroes and nerds. And today, well, I'm going to be peeling back the curtains of creativity and taking a gander at the special editions from the British brands. I personally believe that we need to support British brands because they genuinely offer something a little different and help diversify the market. Now, before we start off, I need to say that I haven't seen these watches in person. I'm just reacting to the press release and pictures of them. But I have been lucky enough to experience some of these brands, so it's not all alien to me. There's over 20 watches to get through today, so let's jump straight in. First up on the block, we have the Geckota Pioneer Special Edition. Now, I have to say, even though Geckota is a sister company to WatchGecko, I do like the dial. I'm a bit of a sucker for fume dials in general, and this one, the blue and the cream minute track, absolutely slaps. Is that what the kids say? Slaps? I hope so. It's actually a bit of a spec monster too. A cushion case, a vintage styling cue that has become a bit of a unique design USP for Geckota in recent years. We also find a Seiko NH38, BGW9 lume, sapphire crystal, decent water resistance for just £399. Although stock is limited to 50, so if you want one, now's the time. I had the opportunity to briefly browse the Fears watch collection at the Bristol Watch Show last year, and I have to say they are impressive. Definitely a fan of what the brand is doing at the moment, and the brand owner Nicholas is incredibly supportive of the British watchmaking scene. Last time I did a review on Fears, I did admit that I was a particular fan of the Brunswick series, and the new limited edition 40.5mm cushion case with the jump hour hand looks really classy. Now, I don't know much about the specs on this one, but it looks to be inspired by the pocket watches of the 1920s, which is always good for watches like this. I really like the porcelain white dial on here, the simplicity of the dial mixed in at the 12 o'clock date feature. Perhaps I'll see one of these in the wild someday, but with only 10 up for grabs, I sadly doubt it. The price for this one is £5,450. So this next one is a collaboration, and I have to say, I did not expect it at all. Fears, the brand that is all about class and sophistication, had a watch baby with a brand that is all about fun and insanity. Well, bottled insanity at least. I mean, who could forget a pizza dial? Am I right? I'm talking, of course, about Studio Underdog. And what they've done here is pretty interesting and cool. They've taken the case of the Brunswick, again, my favorite of the Fears designed, and well, Studio Underdogged it. A nice lime green dial inspired by the gimlet cocktail with heaps of lume, giving it an almost atomic glow with both brands featured prominently below the 12. I honestly think it's pretty cool at £1,000. It's decently priced from the two brands here, and there's more on offer with 200 pieces. Elliot Brown, a brand that unfortunately I still haven't had too much hands-on experience with. Maybe 2025 will be the year that changes that for me. Who knows? But they have a pretty nice looking GMT here, which is a slight reimagining of their Holton GMT. This time it is all brushed with a blue dial. It looks very tool-like here, especially with the blue dial and C3 old radium style lume. Again, this one is limited to just 10 pieces at a price of £950. Now, last year I was lucky enough to try on a Beaucroft watch with the fume style blue teal dial, and I thought it looked gorgeous on wrist. Now, this special edition of the Beaucroft Penfold is a collaboration between the brand and the artist Tim Gresham, also known as Penfold, to do something really unique here, and I do like it. The transition of colour from the watch canvas to the dial, it's different and sharp. I think it's a real bargain at just £649 and is limited limited to 75 pieces. Isotope are back, and it's time another artist collaboration was on the cards with Sophie Scott-Lewis. Now, not to be outdone, they are going not for one, but two special editions here. Inspired by the Union Jack, I mean, what could be more British, hey? And encapsulated in the now recognisable Mercury case, the special edition will have 5 models each, going for £4,700. Now, Clemence were one of my favourite tool brands that I tried on in 2024. Its take on the Explorer-inspired Garda dial was one of my favourites. They are back again with another limited edition to 10 pieces, the Monro, this time with a black dial, white applies indices and rose gold accents. Look, I really like this. It feels like a mixture of elegance whilst also feeling tooly. I don't know if that's a word, but it feels like it should be. I don't have any info on pricing yet, unfortunately. Now, this one is a little tongue-in-cheek, and I like it. You've heard of the god-awful moon swatches and their infamous missions too, right? Well, Christopher Ward have given us a special edition of their really well-received moon phase watch, lovingly calling it Mission to Maidenhead. For those of you who are unaware, Maidenhead is in the UK and is where Christopher Ward are based. Now, this moon phase special edition has a few differences from the OG, and it's more blue than black. The aventurine style dial is subtle and has etchings of the Union Jack, and you have little pops of red from the second hand to the leather strap and the stitching. But the best part about this is the Brit on the moon waving the Union Jack, which is a nod to the pre-space exploration aspirations of the Brits during World War II. As a side note, I used to live in Leicester, where we have the National Space Centre, and there is a whole floor on the museum dedicated to British space exploration and history, something I fully had no idea about until I saw it. Now back to the watch. This one comes in at £2,395 on the leather, which would be my pick, or £2,530 on the consort bracelet, and it's limited to just 25 pieces. Next up, we have British military watch brand Vertex. I reviewed their Dirty Dozen last year, and although pricey, it was very, very, very well made. And I'm going to be looking to get my hands on more this year. Now, this is the M60 Taormina, a blue dialed version of the Vertex dive watch. It looks good, and at just 50 pieces and retailing for £2,950, it's pretty exclusive. Now, you'll have to forgive my ignorance here. In fact, I'm going to tell you that on every video that I can remember to moving forward. But I didn't know Boken was a British brand. They have a special edition that they are keeping under their hat. There are 3 of them, and the prices will actually be auctioned on the day. It'll be another horological collaboration with dial artist Chris, great name, Alexander. Now, this is a solely needed injection of colour. The Pinion neutron violet and the dial layouts, the guilloche patterns and the applied Arabics and cream-filled hands and indices are just what I love about microbrands. Price for this one is £1,150 and it's limited to 30 pieces. Oh my God. For those of you who don't know, I am obsessed with Farah. I'm currently saving up to get one in my collection this year. And this year they are also back with a 36mm special edition of the Aurora, a copper guilloche pattern dial with lovely Arabics and a great color scheme. They are probably one, if not my favorite British brand right now, and I must have one. I just need to have the money and brain space to find a design I like. This one is priced at £925 and is limited to just 10 pieces. Another Bristol-based brand I really like. Alkin has released a Union Jack inspired dial with a red tip second hand watch. Again, this is a pretty cool tool watch. Price on this one are TBC, but from what I can remember, Alkin have some pretty good pricing and they have 40 models of this to choose from. Another brand using the iconic colours of the Union Jack here, but this time more white, a little blue and a touch of red. This is the Monro MOA-BWD. Love an acronym. This one is unique in the special edition range as it has no price. Yes, you heard that correctly, and it's going to be given away to a lucky winner on the day. So quite literally, this is a one of one. Pretty cool, hey? Now, this brand is balls to the wall insane, and I think that's a good thing, and only in Britain would it make sense. This is the new special edition from Mr. Jones, a collaboration with artist Mr. Phil. It's a bold design. Makes no sense whatsoever, and logically telling the time is a logistical nightmare. But look at it. It really is a labour of love. All of the detail on here, from the strap to the dial, it looks so much fun. Prices on here are TBC, and this one is limited to 10 pieces again. Now, this kind of reminds me of a spider's web. The Apiar and the Gun 1B looks space age, and I have to admit, I've not come across this brand before. It looks like it could be a newcomer to the scene. This is an all titanium wonder and is limited to 5 pieces and priced at a not inconsiderable £1,650. So next up we have the Olivier Meylan and the PES. It has a Union Jack arrow at the 12 and kind of reminds me of the Union Jack at the start of Dad's Army, if you remember it. Again, I don't know too much about this brand, but it looks Royal Oak inspired and the case looks like a gunmetal grey. It would be good to get this brand in for a review one day. Now, this one is priced at £1,349 and is limited to 5 pieces. If you're not going with the colours of the flag for your British Watchmakers Day special edition, I would absolutely go for this colour. It's British Racing Green, and aside from green being my most favourite of colours, this watch celebrates another British pastime, racing, and in particular the historical 1903 Gordon Bennett Cup. Now, despite this actually being held in Ireland, in the words of Sidereus, this celebrates shared tradition that unites members of the Alliance from across the British Isles. Now, you have 5 pieces to choose from here, and the price is TBC. You know what? I really enjoy an orange watch from time to time, but we don't seem to have too many of them. Now, this blood orange dial from Omologato is the GMT model called the Orange. It's powered by the Traveller's GMT movement Miyota 9075 and is limited to 10 pieces with prices TBC. So this is interesting from Pompeak. Another guilloche dialed from a fume styled red smoky colorway. Again, this is a brand I'm unfamiliar with, but I do want to see more of. This is part of the Gentleman's Collection. Interesting design, dressy and unique, and pretty well priced. £341.10, but limited to just 15 pieces. Now, I managed to get hands-on with this brand in the office the other day, and I have to say, I really like it a lot. This is Nomadic, and for the British Watchmakers Day, they have created the Fior 555 Pepsi GMT watch, which goes really well with the Northern Irish brand's growing back catalogue. Again, this is limited to 50 pieces at a price of £1,595. Duckworth are a brand that I have followed for a while now with some interest, and the Prestex Special Edition number 2 shows why. At the price of £950, you are getting a really interesting, colourful, while staying minimalist design. I really like the red at the 12, the numerals in blue and gold, and the hands and the subdial feature. It really shows that the brand knows what looks good whilst keeping their heritage of over 100 years. This model is just £950 and a bargain with just 25 pieces available. Last but certainly not least is a brand that are terminally determined to do their own thing, Marloe. I'm a big fan of the brand, especially their GMT and Pacific models, although I wish the GMT had 100 meters of water resistance and not 50. But water resistance is no issue here. This is the Monro 310, a decade in time. As the name would suggest, you get a whopping 310 meters of water resistance, a really nice yellow and baby blue design, and it looks like a watch that would be bomb-proof. Prices are TBC on this one, but again, you get a little over 100 pieces in availability here.
The timings with Chris being in the studio to record this video and the press release from Golby and Schofield didn't quite work out, but now we have their imagery, and so you can see on screen what sort of special edition watches they are releasing for the British Watchmakers Day.
So there you have it. Slightly longer than I expected, and if I'm honest, that's a good thing. Look, whenever I do a list on British brands, it seems to suffer an instant acute amnesia, and I always forget just how much is on offer from British brands. I love buying British brands because of the variety, the complexity, and the fact that it feels kind of unlike anything else that you can find in the market today. There's something, dare I say, devilishly rogue about British watches. There's a need to stand out from the pack, to be alternative, strange, unique, and of course, colourful. It feels oddly and uniquely British, and being half British, I really like it. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. The British Watchmakers Day is around the corner and we will be doing a video recap. If you wanted to see what it was like last year, click on the screen or in the link in the description. Here at WatchGecko, we love highlighting unique boutique microbrands from Old Blighty to all over the world. So stay tuned for our upcoming videos, and I'll see you all in the next one.